What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. It is your match preview stream. Tottenham against Manchester City. Big game this weekend in the Premier League. Big game down at the bottom. Even bigger game up at the top of the Premier League.
It's a tough away game for us this weekend.
Oh, don't start with that again. Don't start with that again. I'll ask you the question on the match preview when we get there in just a moment, but we've got some transfer news to speak about, and let's get into that first and foremost, as we'll speak about Randal Kolo Muani. Fabrice Hawkins says that Randal Kolo Muani has never tried to force his way out of Tottenham Hotspur in order to join Juventus. It is not true. So, we saw him being a bit disinterested over the last couple of games. He looked back interested.
Yeah, he could have fooled me.
He looked back interested a little bit in the game in the Champions League midweek. I mean, there has been reports saying that he has been trying to force the move. Do you reckon maybe he did say he wants to leave and then the move has kind of not been available to him and he's just saying, yeah, I've never forced the move?
Yeah, potentially. Who knows? It looks like maybe the Juventus deal is a bit dead at the moment, so maybe he's thinking, I just got to make use of what I've got at the moment. And yes, it's not really worked out since he's come here, and especially in the Premier League, he's struggled. In the Champions League, he's actually been all right in most games, but in the Premier League, just like Tottenham, I guess, he has definitely struggled. But yeah, I think at this moment in time, he's obviously not going to go back to PSG and just sit on the bench or not be included. So he'd rather have a go at it at Tottenham rather than, if the move's going to fail, then maybe he's kind of backtracking on wanting out. I'm sure if there was a serious offer on the table from Juve and it was just a case of whether he wants to go or not, he'll probably go. But at the moment, maybe that's just not the case.
Yeah, I mean, there was just so many moving parts to this deal if it was going to happen as well. You know, Spurs and PSG had to come to an agreement. PSG and Juventus had to come to agreement, and the reports were saying there's frosty relationships there, and also Spurs had to find a replacement as well. So it's just like, it felt like it was just too much to happen.
At the moment, we're all begging for Juve to be drawn against us in the round of 16 at the moment, because Randal is guaranteed a goal.
Yeah, you know what? I want Juve now. Now Randal's staying. Give us Juve, man.
Guaranteed quarterfinals.
Give us Juve.
Come on.
And give us PSG in the quarters.
I think the glitch we have to just take advantage of, we got to sell Muani to every team we're playing against and loan him back for each game, and then he'll be top goal scorer.
I'm in, man. I'm in for that. I'm in. It is quite mad that is literally the only teams that he can score against, the teams that he's used to play for or currently does.
Such an odd thing, such an odd quirk with him.
But yeah, look, we need to see better performances from Randal, particularly in the Premier League, and hopefully it can start this weekend. I doubt he'll start this weekend, though.
No, but hopefully he can build off the goal he scored, and he looked a bit better against Frankfurt as well. With obviously, there's a lot of talk about him looking disinterested in his body language and whether he wants to be here. But as well, he has only obviously been in the Premier League for 6 months. It can take a while for players to acclimatise to the Prem. We have seen that with lots of players. So I think he is going to be here from now to the end of the season. We just got to make our peace with that, and hopefully we can. Look, I think there is a good player in there. I think we all know that, and hopefully we could just find a way of getting the best out of him.
Yeah, and look, the reality is we're going to need him, particularly over the next couple of weeks. I mean, Frank did mention in the press conference, Richie could be one of the earlier ones back out of the guys that are out injured. He said him and Porro are the next ones back. So that will ease the burden a little bit, once we... Is it possible that Spurs could have 3 fit strikers?
No, never seen the likes. It's about to break down. So, no, definitely not. We're not going to have 3 fit strikers. It's just never going to happen at this club. So... don't even try and get your hopes up, I would say.
Oh, God. Let's move on to the next one. And Miguel Delaney says that Tottenham are exploring move for Moussa Diaby. Diaby is open to returning to a Champions League club. Inter Milan are considered the favourites and had been close to agreeing a deal. Fabrice Hawkins says that Diaby has made Inter Milan his absolute priority. So if a move doesn't materialise for Inter Milan and Spurs could push the button on Moussa Diaby, would you want him?
I really liked him when he was at Leverkusen. Yeah. I remember he was really highly thought of. He went to Villa. Didn't set the world alight, but he was pretty good, I would say, at Villa. I remember him and Leon Bailey on either wing, and they were doing quite well that season. I think that was the season they pipped us to 4th, wasn't it? When we had Ange in that first season.
Yeah.
And he did quite well. Wasn't like amazing, but he did quite well. But
it's very up and down, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was kind of inconsistent. I think he started really well and kind of tailed off a bit. Obviously, a player with a lot of pace, more of a forward than a winger, I would say. Very similar kind of profile to Brennan. I would argue. Probably a bit better on the ball, better dribbling kind of thing. He was a good player. He is a good player. I don't know how he's done at Saudi. I haven't really been keeping up with him.
So last season in Saudi, he got 14 assists and 5 goals. This season, not so good. 17 games, 2 goals, 5 assists.
I think the big problem with this transfer, as with every player you look to sign from Saudi, is they've got a massive wage packet and they have no, they've got tax, the tax laws are very different. So they pretty much get all of it. Whereas here you lose 40, 50% of your wage. So I don't know how much he's on, but he's going to have to pretty much take a pay cut if he's coming here. Unless he comes on loan and we pay half and Al-Ittihad pay half or whatever it is.
He's on 130 grand a week.
Yeah, but that means
that's full. He gets the full package.
He gets the full. So we would have to pay 260 for him to get
the reality is though, if he is dead set on leaving, he ain't going to get that at Inter Milan either. So so he's going to have to take a wage decrease regardless.
Right. So he probably will end up staying. Is my point.
Well, I think the whole point of it is that he wants to leave. I think that's what people are saying. Yeah.
Well, let's see how badly he wants to leave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's one thing saying, I would like a move, but you ain't going to get the same wages here. Is he worth those wages as well? He's not a player who I think he probably improves the forward options 100%. Is he an incredible player? No, but he's a good player. And he's probably an upgrade on Brennan, I would say. I would say he's probably a better player than Brennan. Will there be better players available in the summer? I'm pretty sure of it. But he's a good player. He
comes in as probably one of our best wingers. I'm not even saying, that he's amazing, but, obviously the wingers that we have available aren't great either. So, Odebear is starting to make a name for himself, but Diaby's better than Odebear right now.
I think a loan deal makes the most sense here. I don't think I'd be spending big transfer fees and big wages on him because you could find out in 6 months' time or a year's time that he's surplus to requirements. But I actually think under Frank as well, he wants more players running in behind. He said that consistently, and I think Diaby would definitely do that. He's definitely that kind of player. Good in front of goal as well. I remember for Leverkusen, he scored quite a few goals. So, good player. I would be excited if we got him in. I just don't see it happening. I think the financials involved in a permanent signing would be too much.
Yeah. Look, we'll see how it progresses, but I agree. Don't really see. Thing is, we say we don't see this happening. Do we see anything happening from now to the end of the window? It's just it's such dry lands.
Yeah, I think a loan deal between now and the end of the window is the only one that makes sense because Frank has been very adamant. We've got to make good long-term decisions and not think too much on the short term. And the only way to circumvent that is a loan deal, so you're not committed to the long term. I'd be shocked if we have a big money signing for big money permanently between now and the end of the window.
So that's Moussa Diaby. Let us know in the comment section below. Would you like to see him at Tottenham this transfer window? Christian Falk says that Tottenham inquired about Serge Gnabry's availability, but the response from the players' camp was that the priority is Bayern, and they were in good talks over a contract extension. So, this one was probably never one that was going to progress. He as well is on, bigger wages than Diaby is at Bayern Munich. So, yeah, probably nothing really much to talk about because he's not coming.
No, but I think if we really wanted him, we could probably get him because I think Bayern would probably be open to selling him because he's obviously, as you can see, he's 30. He's probably not been at his best now for a bit. He is a good player. Again, another player that improves us. But again, if you wanted him permanently, signing a 30-year-old for a decent fee who's going to be on big wages is just not the way forward, and he could be declining very quickly. So I like him, and he, if we for the next 6 months, would have a very good player there. But in terms of the long term, it's just not smart business. Again, if I was to get him, it would only be on loan. I'll take a loan deal.
Unless they extend his contract and loan him out, they're not going to do that because his contract does currently run till the end of the season. But they are in talks apparently with a new contract, and they do actually very much like him there still at Bayern, even though he hasn't been at his best for the last couple of years. So yeah, I don't think he's leaving. He's just a good squad player for them, isn't he?
Yeah. So
next up, Talking of the long term, let's talk about Raheem Sterling. As Team Talk says that Tottenham are seriously considering signing Raheem Sterling, who is now a free agent. Manager Thomas Frank is on board with the move.
Oh, bollocks.
However, Tom Barkley says that Tottenham are not interested in signing Raheem Sterling.
There you go. Team Talk or Tom Barkley, the Sun. It would depend to pick your fighter, I guess. But yeah, Raheem Sterling ain't coming to Tottenham. It ain't going to happen. Don't even think about it. He is
Famous last words.
He has said
famous last words.
Well, to be fair, he has said he's happy to take a third of the wages. He was on a Stamford Bridge, and that was over 300 grand a week. So he's happy to come here for, a small amount of 100 grand a week. Can we tempt him? Can he tempt us on a free deal as well? No, I wouldn't take him at all. The only thing I'd maybe consider it is if he's on a pay-as-you-play deal.
Nah, never. I won't even take that. I literally
For
wouldn't
6
even.
months.
I literally wouldn't even take that.
Would you rather nothing than him on a pay-as-you-play deal?
Yeah, I would actually. Like, this guy is like playing like with 10 men on the pitch. That's literally what it's like. So.
Okay, but if he doesn't play, you don't pay him.
I don't care about the money. I don't even want him in the squad. Never mind paying, not paying. He can play for free for all I care, and I still wouldn't take him. That's how bad he is.
But it's all on him to prove it, is my point. If he comes here and he's an option, pay as you play.
As someone says in the comments, don't talk yourself into it.
Pay as you play. Come on. Pay as you play. No, I don't want Sterling.
Not even on a pay as you play.
He would be literally last minute of the deadline. We've got a deal sheet ready. We've got no other option. It's either him on a pay as you play or nothing. I might consider it.
I wouldn't. I would not even consider it. I'd rather no option than Raheem Sterling. And I'm telling you, if Spurs sign Raheem Sterling, there'll be riots. There'll be absolute riots. Next one, let's talk about Radu Dragusin. As Calcio Mercato said that AC Milan have held lengthy meetings with the representatives of Tottenham Hotspur defender Radu Dragusin. The centre-back is also wanted by Roma and Napoli and could still be on the move before the deadline slams shut on Monday. I mean, I just can't believe that we're going to sell him now. No. I think if we were going to sell him, it would have been earlier in the window. There's been talks about it all window. We just can't let him go. Like, we just can't put ourselves in that position.
Especially now, we've moved to the back three. We're going to need every centre-back available. I know Paulini has been an option there. Doggy's even played in the left centre-back, but obviously he's our wing-back now because we've got Porro injured. So I can't see Dragusin leaving. I can't really see Tottenham moving for a centre-back between now and the end of the window. It's just a headache we don't need. We've got Dragusin there. I know he wants to play, and I know he wants the game time. And I feel for him. I understand that, given that he's had a big injury, and it will accelerate, him being back to his best if he just gets some consistent game time. But we can't afford to lose him right now. So the only frustration for him is he going to be put back in the Champions League squad now that he's out of it, and we've only got 3 changes. So we risk keeping him around and him not being in the Champions League squad. But look, needs must. We need him. We're not going to be scrambling around for a centre-back right now. So, yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere.
Do you think that we do put him back in the Champions League squad? Because if we're going to persist with this 3 at the back till the end of the season, then he becomes quite important for us.
Absolutely. It just depends on, let's say, I don't know if the Robertson thing gets resurrected. Gallagher's definitely one who's going to
Let's say we don't make any signings from now until the end of the window.
Then he gets put in.
Yeah, for me, it's Dragusin, Gallagher and Tel.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 that I've got to come back
the other
in.
Options, Basuma, Kulusevski, Maddison, but I don't think I'm going to put any of them in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think those 3 get put in.
The thing is with Radu, like, obviously we haven't seen him for a long time because of the injury and everything like that, but I've said it time and time again, I think he can be a really good player for us in the system and the way that we play under Thomas Frank. I really do.
Yes and no. I think he still has those deficiencies on the ball, and I think being in a back 3 will help him, to be honest.
But Danso has those deficiencies on the ball, and he puts in quite good performances for us.
And I think he's better on the ball than Dragusin, though.
Do you think so?
Oh yeah, definitely. He's definitely better on the ball. Dragusin is really bad on the ball. Like, Danso's just like average, but Dragusin's like actively bad, from what I've seen anyway, so far. So I think he'll probably be better for Frank than he would be for Ange, and I'll be excited to see what kind of level he comes in back in at. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how good he will be in terms of like doing what Romero does, or even Van de Ven has improved on the ball. So I think it will help him though being in a back 3 because he has more options.
Yeah.
So I think we even saw Paulinho. He looked a lot better on the ball, being in that position. So I think it will definitely help Radu than what he was playing before, because before he was literally in a back two, like he had to be very good on the ball, and he just isn't. And now I don't think he has to be that good, but he's still bad. So.
Like, we've seen him have some really good performances at Spurs. I remember when we went to the Etihad and he was at the back. He put in a monstrous display that day. So I think in the games where it's like a kind of backs against the wall job against like the top sides, like he's a proper defender. You know what I mean? So I think he can hold his value massively. And last but not least, let's talk about Mathys Tel, as there's been big rumours about Mathys. Obviously, we've spoken at length about the treatment of him by Thomas Frank at the club this season. And Kerry Hall, which is a reliable German journalist, says that Mathys Tel will stay at Tottenham. Tel has not been given the permission to leave, neither for a permanent transfer or a loan. Paris FC and several clubs from England and Spain have expressed concrete interest in Tel, but without success. And yeah, look, makes complete sense.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't sanction a move for Tel at the moment. I think he's playing well. I understand his frustrations. He might want to move for himself. There's some suggestions he wants to move maybe to get in the World Cup squad, but I just don't think he's going to get it anyway. But regardless, obviously he's a talented young player. He believes in himself. Maybe he feels like, go somewhere, if I smash it out, maybe I can sneak in. But I think it's probably at this point fanciful thinking. I think he's just got to keep doing what he has been doing, get his head down, work hard, and work your way into the team. And look, for me, I understand his frustration because he's played well and continually overlooked, and Frank has not been treating him that well. But for me, I think if he keeps going in the trajectory he is going, look at Odebear, he's like flying at the moment, and hopefully Tel can find his way back in the team and make himself undroppable. And I'm not saying he hasn't done that, like, obviously he's been good, but he hasn't been, incredible, but he's been good. I think it's been unfair, the amount he's been sidelined, given how good he's been. But it's just his job to muscle his way in that team and make himself undroppable. And I also think in this 4-3-4-3 formation, it could suit him as well, getting a bit more inside and a bit closer to goal as well.
The thing is, right, with the kind of way Odebear's playing, Javi as well, where does he actually fit in that 3-4-3 if we're gonna persist with Javi and Odebear?
Yeah, at the moment they're ahead of him, but if he gets his chance, I think this formation could suit him. And I think he's the one.
Instead of who? Who would you play him instead of?
I think he's the one in that formation I think could be more of a goal threat than the other two as well. But those two are creators in the inside channels, so they're doing well at the moment. They're combining. But I think Tel could suit that. I really do. I think Tel could suit that role. Obviously, they're ahead of him, no doubt. I'm not saying start Tel on Sunday. I'm just saying if he gets his opportunities like he should do, and he takes them, I think that role could suit him.
Would you consider? I know, obviously, we'll probably persist with Dom Solanke, but with what Tel brings in potentially running in behind, could it be a good option for this weekend in the 9?
I wouldn't start him, but yeah, I think he could be. I actually think as well in the 9. In this formation would suit him a lot more as well.
That's what I'm saying.
Then he's playing the 4-2-3-1, and again, very isolated. When he's got him next to Xavi and Odebear, it could really suit him. But yeah, I wouldn't start him this weekend.
All right, well, that is your Tottenham update for today. Hopefully we get some more news, but as the hours pass, as the minutes progress, it does seems that Spurs aren't getting anyone in this transfer window, but let's hope I'm wrong.
Last year was the same, wasn't it? Albeit we were probably more desperate in January for signings, but last year it was the same. The days and ticked away. You had Ange in his press conference saying you're playing with fire if you don't bring anyone in, and then I think on deadline day we picked up Danso and Tel, didn't we? So it can happen very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see what happens. But anyway, let's focus on the game this weekend. Sunday, 4:30 kickoff at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Let's get into the predicted lineup and let's start off talking about the team news going into the game.
Yeah, he said on Mickey van der Ven he is touch and go going to this weekend. He is on the grass. He was on the pitch yesterday, but whether he's fit for the weekend, we'll have to wait and see. He said it's a minor problem, but we'll have to wait and see. Interesting updates about Richarlison and Porro. Porro's not on this. Actually, Porro should be added there. Porro, they're looking at the North London derby potentially for a comeback there, that kind of ballpark, but obviously they're going to be out for the next few weeks. Madison, Kulusevski, Kudus, Ben Davis, Richarlison, Lucas Bergvall and Bentancur, all long-term injuries. I think Kudus Bergvall and Bentancur not going to be seen till April. Davis out for the season. Maddison, Kulusevski Davis, Maddison, Kulusevski, we don't know really. It could be all the season, to be honest, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, I think we've seen the last of Davis in a Spurs shirt, in my opinion. But Richarlison and Porro potentially the next two back, and
Also,
we'll see what happens after that.
On Maddison, some encouraging pictures he's posted of him in individual training.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't think he's anywhere near a return, but obviously he's back on the grass, it seems, and he's doing some good work. So hopefully, maybe he'll be back before Decky at this point, which is crazy to think. He did an ACL 3 months after Decky did his knee injury and could be back before him.
It's mad.
We haven't seen any
nothing. I mean,
photos of Decky on the grass.
I mean, wasn't there that Decky was back on the grass like months ago, and then he came off the grass, and then
it seems as though there's
definitely been a setback there.
The thing is, when we talk about setbacks with the Decky one, apparently it's just such a unique injury. They actually don't really know the timeline. There's not really a roadmap for that timeline. Like with ACLs and stuff, you kind of know. Whereas with Decky, it's like we can call it a setback, but he might not have been ready. You know what I mean? We just don't know.
Well, if you remember that Decky interview from, it was ages ago, he was like, I think I'm going to be back in October time. And then and then the people were saying, the news actually coming out was saying it's going to be more December time. So it seemed like back then there was a time frame. But now there seems to be no time frame.
That's my point. They don't know. They're just guessing at that thing at this point, because I don't think they really know with this injury. It's such a unique one. I think it's hard to know. It's hard to know when exactly he's going to be ready.
Like, only Spurs get these kind of injuries, I swear. Like, do you remember when Lamella got that hip injury? Like, that was also this really unique injury that nobody knew anything about.
And then he had surgery on one side, then he had to have surgery on the other side. Same with Sessegnon, I remember. He ripped one hamstring, then he ripped the other one as soon as he got back.
Yeah.
And he had to have surgery again. Like, these injuries are crazy. And I remember Romella, who was it? I think he was manager at the time. It might have been Poch, or I can't remember. But literally every press conference he was like, "Yeah, he's nearly here. He's nearly here." And it just went on for months and months and months. Here, nearly. Yeah. And it was almost like a year later. Does he exist? Is he alive? Same with Solanke. Decky was a knock apparently, and now he's out. He's going to be out for a year. It's just this club. But
anyway, let's get into it. It's going to be a 3-4-3 formation.
That's what we're going with.
As per usual, as we've seen over the last couple of weeks. And I think it's probably the best formation to combat Manchester City as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think the way Man City set up, having those three centre-backs, but also having the combinations with Xavi and Odegaard with pace in behind with Solanke, who, by the way, I was watching it back, the goal. What pace he showed to run in behind there, because if you see where the header came from, he was a few yards behind.
Yeah, that's what I said to you at the time. He was showing a really good turn of pace.
Incredible. Which is great to see him in that kind of looking that sharp. And obviously he had the composure to finish. So, I think that is going to be crucial against this City side who need to win, don't they? They have one kind of aim here. They have to get 3 points. A draw is not good enough, so they're really going to go at us.
Yeah. So, in goal, Guillermo Vicario.
Yeah, Kinski might be on his way out, so we don't have to start talking about that at the moment.
The back three, Mickey van de Ven is a doubt. Are we thinking he's going to play?
I've got the feeling he will, but obviously it's a risk, isn't it? Because Frank's going to get pelters if Van de Ven starts and he gets injured, given the fact that we've heard he's a doubt. Touch and go.
But he trained. He did train.
He did train. He's on the grass. Also, another element is we do have a week break between this game and the United game. So could you say, just leave him out and give him 1 week and then he's going to be fully ready, or do you risk him for this game? It is an important game though for us, as well. As you said, we need the points right now. So do you risk it if he's touch and go? When it came to Paulinho, he was touch and go for, what game was it? Burnley, and he decided not to risk him and play him against Frankfurt because we knew we needed him. But the thing is, if we don't play him, do we play Paulinho there? Do you play?
Could play Dragusin
there. Do you have options?
I would hazard a guess to say Mickey van de Ven will play this game. I think he will play.
I've got a feeling he's going to play as well.
Yeah, so I think that it'll be the back three of Van de Ven, Romero, and Kevin Danso.
Which played against Burnley. Played against Burnley. He did say he was close to the Frankfurt game, didn't he?
Yeah.
So
that's the back three. Right wing back, obviously our only option really in Jed Spence.
Yep, has to play there. And I think I'm actually in this kind of game a bit happier was having Spence there, because I think with his athleticism, I think obviously I heard Doku's injured, so he won't be that much of an issue. But he's obviously much better defending in those one-on-one duels, and I think physically he can dominate a flank a bit more than Porro, but Porro's obviously so much better in the final third. But I think for this game specifically, we're going to need that physicality, so I'm happy with him there.
So who's he going to come up against? Because Jeremy Doku's injured. Obviously, Spence and Doku know each other well from their days at Rennes.
Savinho's out.
Savinho's out. So will it be Semenyo?
Maybe, or Semenyo will definitely on one side and Cherki on the other. So actually, probably will be, because probably Cherki will be on the right. So probably Semenyo.
Yeah.
Although Semenyo, interestingly enough, said the toughest fullback he's ever faced is a doggy. So that's interesting thing to comment on.
It could be like very much a rotation thing throughout the game, you know, how Pep Guardiola likes to do. But so Spence right back, a doggy left wing back.
Yeah, 100%. The only worry for me with a doggy is if we had another option, would he be playing this game given his injury history? We've been easing him back in to the fray. He obviously had to play 90 minutes against Dortmund. He then... Did he start against... Didn't start against Burnley, but played 45. Then another 90 minutes against Frankfurt. And probably going to have to play another 90 minutes on Sunday. Let's hope he's all right. I'm sure they wouldn't play him 90 minutes if he can't handle it. But yeah, that's the only worry I've got with him, because he's so crucial to us right now, because we don't have any other fullbacks. So I'm slightly worried about that. But I don't think we have an option, do we? So yeah, a doggy in left wing.
We don't have an option for the next probably until the Arsenal game,
unless
really.
Robertson comes in.
Yeah,
we'll have to wait and see. Sousa's obviously Sousa's an option, but would he be on the bench, you reckon?
I think
he was on the bench against Burnley, wasn't he?
No, I think he has to be on the bench. We need a fullback on the bench, you know what I mean?
Just in case.
All right, so those are the fullbacks. In terms of the midfield, this is an interesting one, because I think it's going to be two of Gray, Paulinia and Gallagher. Now, which of the two do we think it's going to be? Oh, Sarr, yeah, it could be two of the four. Yeah, you're right.
Gray, Paulinia, Sarr, Pasuma.
Yeah, two of the five. Two of the five.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. Last game, obviously, Burnley was Basuma and Gallagher. We then had to play Gray and Sarr against Frankfurt, but Paulinia at centre back. So what does he do? It's a difficult one. It could be any. I think Gallagher's probably the only shoe-in, I would say. Really, I think he has to. He's going to play Gallagher, isn't he?
Yeah, look, for me, for what Gallagher's shown so far, he shouldn't be a shoe-in. You know, he needs to earn his spot.
I know,
in my opinion.
I agree, but he has signed for big money, and I think they signed him for a reason. I think they signed him to use him. You know what I mean? So
yeah, but I still think everyone needs to earn their right to play.
I understand that, but I think there's probably an understanding. He's new to the team, 2 games in. He signed because they believe he's an upgrade on what we have, so I do think they're going to play him. So I think he's the one. I'm fairly certain it's going to be Gallagher, but it's what the other one is a big question. It could be any of those 4 that we mentioned. It really could be. Gray, you could argue, deserves it with a good performance on midweek, and he's been playing consistently. But do we want a senior midfielder next to Gallagher? Well, I guess Gallagher's a senior midfielder, so you could go maybe with a younger one. Sarr came in and played well. He's obviously provides energy. Basuma's obviously done quite well since he's come in, but he could be on his way out. So do we think about the future rather than Basuma, who could be leaving before the deadline?
There's no real rumours about Basuma leaving. I think he's going to be here to end this. Yeah, but it's not. It wasn't a real rumour.
Then there's also Paulinia, who's obviously a senior player. And in this game against City, didn't he win man of the match last time? And he scored a goal and was brilliant. So if it was up to me, who would I play? It's a really tough call. I actually think potentially Sarr might be the best option in a weird way, because I think you have that energy and bite with both of them, those players, and both of them are kind of in the double pivot there. They're both kind of forward thinking, and City will be leaving those gaps. And I think those two might be the best players to exploit them, or maybe even Basuma. But I don't know if he's going to start Basuma. I think he might just end up signing Paulinia. But I don't know about Paulinia Gallagher centre mid. I think that might be the worst one to pick, in a weird way. I would only pick Paulinia if it's next to one of the others, maybe not Gallagher.
It could very well be Gallagher and Gray, to be honest. And
Gallagher and Gray, but is there
and
enough
there's also
physicality there?
and there's also an option to say that if Van der Ven's not ready, Paulinho to go into the back line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think against Man City, he will want Paulinho there. So I think the way he's going to go is Paulinho and Sarr. I got a feeling Gallagher's not going to play.
I'm pretty certain Gallagher is going to play. Maybe Gallagher goes in the front three.
I hope not.
Maybe he doesn't go back three. But he probably will. You're playing so well. Well, we're better. It's a tough call.
What do you guys think? Who do you think the two in midfield would be? In terms of best performing midfielders right now, who are our best two performing midfielders at this moment in time?
Probably Basuma, and I mean it's hard to say Sarr because only one game, but Basuma and maybe Paulinho is actually in decent form.
Basuma and Paulinho, or Basuma and Gray?
Yeah. But maybe he'll bring surprise in the front line. Could he go? I mean, could he? He's going to go back three, isn't he?
At the Etihad, who did we play?
Bentancur, Paulinho.
Bentancur,
It was a
Paulinho.
four, but it was a back four, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which he could do again. He could switch it up and go to what worked at the Etihad and put Xavi in the team.
I don't think he will. I think he persists with this. I think he's onto a decent thing with this this formation. I think he'll know it'll work. I think it'll work against Man City as well.
What do we think? Some people say Sarr and Biss and Paulinho. Everyone's got a different answer.
That's the thing. It's a very difficult call who plays in this middle two. Yeah, I agree, man. I don't think Gallagher's playing this game.
I think he is. Especially, obviously, he didn't play on Tuesday as well.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, sorry. But then again, does he want to keep it consistency because we played well?
I'm convinced. The one I'm convinced about is Paulinho. I think Paulinho definitely plays.
I'm convinced about Gallagher. I think he definitely plays.
So I guess we'll have to go Paulinho and Gallagher then.
Paulinho and Gallagher. I just think that's the worst two, though. I wouldn't do it. All right. Not the worst two, in terms of a combination, I mean. That's the one combination I don't want to see. I pretty much want to see every combination but that one.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think you might be that one.
Who's the one that you want to see?
I think maybe Gallagher and Sarr.
So you definitely want to see Gallagher play?
Yeah. I want him to get into the team. I want him to get used to the team.
See, for me, what I want to see is probably... maybe Basuma and Sarr.
Basuma and Sarr.
Yeah, that's probably what I want to see.
Interesting.
But anyway, we're going for Conor Gallagher and João Paulinho. I think the front line becomes a bit more easier to predict. I think Dominic Solanke takes the number 9 spot. Obviously, didn't play in midweek, came on, scored a goal, looked good. And yeah, he's our starting number 9 right now. Left-hand side.
And also, it's going to be crucial him because Guehi's obviously there, but Kuzanov, I think Kuzanov is fast, but I think if you got Solanke backing into you, I don't think Kuzanov is handling that well, in my opinion, if they do start Kuzanov.
Yeah, it's a bit of a physical mismatch, that.
Yeah, so I think if Solanke could just pen into Kuzanov and stick to him, I think that's a big advantage we can get there.
I think Guehi might be the more dominant one there. I think Guehi's going to try and match up with Dom Solanke in this game. Left wing, Xavi Simons in the left side at number 10.
Yep, I agree.
And then right side number 10 will be Wilson Odobert.
I agree. I think they're just playing too well at the moment, especially Odobert. You can't leave him out. Obviously, Xavi in the last 2 Champions League games as well. So they have to play. Obviously, we do have Tel. We do have Muani. Muani did score midweek. Tel's been in decent form. But I think they're both going to be on the bench. But at least, in this game, we're going to have a few more options on the bench compared to what we had at midweek. So we are, the bench actually isn't looking terrible, considering if this is our lineup, you've got Muani, potentially Souza, Sarr, you've got, what else? You've got Gray, you've got Tel, Basuma. So you do have options there.
Yeah.
All of a sudden. There's not looking too thin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dragusin.
Yeah, so decent, you know.
Gone from a bench full of teenagers to no space for one.
Yeah, and look, this is the lineup that we're going to go for. Vicario and goal, a back three of Danso, Romero and Mickey van de Ven. Paulinia and Conor Gallagher in the midfield with Spence and Adogi as the wing-back. Solanke up top, supported by Javi Simmons and Wilson Odebear. What's your score prediction?
I said 2-2. Even though we've been horrific, I've got a feeling we're going to up our game in this one. Also, I do think the likes of a team like City, Frank likes playing against those teams, I think. I think he prefers like that kind of dynamic. And I also think they're going to leave space for us. We're going to look to exploit it. I also think set pieces, they're not like the strongest on that. That's definitely a place we can get an advantage. So I think this could be a good game for him, and it could be a good game for him at a good time. So I think we're going to get a point in a good performance. But yeah, that's kind of the feeling I get.
Yeah, I said 2-1 to Man City in the Prem, but I actually think Spurs are going to take the points in this game.
All three?
Yeah, I think we're going to win. I really think we're going to win. We just have something against Man City. Every year we seem to beat them. We've already beaten them once this season. I think Man City obviously haven't been on the best run of form as well. They won last game against Wolves, but before that they didn't win in the last 4 games. They seem to be, I think they're just going to leave us space, and that's what this Spurs team love. So I think we're going to have enough aggression to match them up as well. So I think Spurs are going to sneak this one 2-1. I really do.
2-1.
So that is our predicted lineup. I want to know your predicted lineup and predicted scorelines in the comments section below. We're going to move in to the match preview. Tottenham against Man City. Do we want to win this game? Do you want to win this game?
I want to win this game.
Are you sure about that? You didn't sound convincing.
Put it this way, I want to win this game, but there's a silver lining if we lose. The one thing I don't want is a draw, I think, fair to say. I don't want us just taking 1 point and then costing City, and then it doesn't really help us that much. Although, I guess every point matters at this point. At this stage.
Draw helps nobody in this game.
But yeah, honestly, if we're drawing, I want to see us going for it and leaving ourselves open, and either we win or we lose. I don't want to draw in this game.
I don't understand the narrative about wanting to lose this game. I really don't. I understood it. I understood it 2 years ago when it was a defining match in the season, and I was open in saying I was happy to see Man City win that game. But here we're talking about a game in the end of January, people. Like, there's so much football left to be played. In my opinion, I think Arsenal are going to probably bottle it anyway, regardless if we win, lose, or draw this game. So there's a serious case of Spurs fans wanting to lose this game, and Arsenal still go and end up winning the title anyway. So I think at this point of the season, you just need to concentrate on yourselves. Like, if we're playing Man City the back end of April, it's more of a conversation. But right now, I think it's ridiculous for anyone to suggest that we should want to lose this game.
With Arsenal win on Saturday,
we
could be giving them a 7-point lead. Going into February, which is a big lead. They're really giving them the advantage if we were to win. If they win.
Fine, but it's still so early. It's not early on, but it's still January. The last game in January. I don't think you're not handing them the title or anything. There's still so much more football left to be played. It gives them a big lead, a big commanding lead, but it's not something they haven't bottled before, and it's not something I have doubt that they won't bottle again. So
you think if they get 7 points again, they'll still bottle it?
Yeah.
If they get 7 points ahead.
I do, yeah. I think Arsenal is shitting the bed week in, week out at the moment.
But if they win, that's not shitting the bed. That's winning.
Yeah, but Arsenal. Well, first of all, they're playing before Man City, so they don't know the outcome. So I think whenever Arsenal go that far ahead of City, they just seem to have this thing about them where this is not in the script. This is not what's supposed to happen, and they just shit the bed. So I think if they go 7 points ahead, probably the week after it'll come to, or a couple of weeks after, it'll go back to 4. So. I'm not too worried.
Sure.
I don't care. At this moment in time, I'm not worried or caring about Arsenal winning the league. I'm really not.
That's fair, but I'm thinking they've opened the door again against Man United, and the reality is Man City have given them lots of opportunities to pull clear, but Man City have to start putting the pressure on at some point. And if they don't do it this weekend, it's gonna make it very difficult between now and the end of the season to claw back a 7-point lead when they've got an opportunity now to really start amping up that pressure. And if they don't do it, I think now's the time, really. I actually think that for Man City to do it.
Yeah.
And if they don't do it, it's going to be a big problem for them to chase. If they go 7 points again, if they go 7 points clear this weekend, are they guaranteed to win the league? Arsenal?
Yeah.
Not guaranteed.
So then I don't care then.
Heavy favourites though.
Yeah, but they're heavy favourites going into this weekend anyway. Like
they're favourites, but not heavy favourites. 4 points could be wiped out very quickly.
The Man City are like 4-1.
Yeah, because they believe
that right now.
Yeah, because they believe that that City are probably going to drop points this weekend and at Anfield next weekend. That's why Arsenal.
The bookies are Man City are favourites to win the game this weekend.
Yeah, but I'm saying overall, there's a chance that Man City drop points in this weekend and at Anfield next weekend. So given the fixture list, Arsenal have the easier fixtures and they're 4 points clear. So if our Man City can win this weekend, I think that's major, actually, in the title race, because that's one really difficult game that they usually struggle with out the way. So, look, I want Spurs to win because we are in trouble and we need the victory. We also, if we've got any ambition of being in Europe next season, we need to start winning games and we need to start getting closer to that top half and closer to those European spots, and that has to start now. No, we can't wait any longer, essentially.
Yeah.
So we need to win, and I agree, as much as painful as it is, Arsenal can still be caught even if the gap goes to 7 points. So last 2 years ago, there was literally win and hand Arsenal the title. That was literally the game, and this one's a bit different. But there's no two ways about it. There will be fans out there thinking if we give Arsenal a 7-point lead between now and the end of the season, that will give them the title, essentially.
It's just not something that I care about, to be honest, right now, at this stage of the season. If they go 7 points ahead, then so be it. And look, at the end of the day, if they win the title, then so be it as well. They would have deserved it at the end of the day, as much as it pains.
So be it.
That's as much as it. Look, I've seen Arsenal win the title. I've seen them win the title.
For 20 years.
I have not seen them win the Champions League. That will make my... if they win the Champions League, that will make me physically sick. It really would. But right now, we have to focus on ourselves. We're in too much of a precarious situation right now. We have to get as many points as we can. You know, European football already looks like a distant kind of memory for going into next season. So we just need to pick up as many points as we can. If we can go on a run, which is looking unlikely at this moment, then we can put ourselves back in the conversation. So we just need to focus on ourselves and forget about Arsenal. Just forget about them.
Do you reckon Arsenal will be cheering us on then on Sunday?
Yeah, for sure they will be. For sure they will be.
Celebrating Tottenham goals?
For sure they will be. For sure. But I don't think Arsenal believe that they're going to win the title. They don't believe it within themselves. So if they don't even have that belief, are they even going to go on and win it?
I think they do.
I don't think they do.
I 100% think they're going to win the title. They think they're going to win the title.
They do not think they're going to win the title. I'm talking about the fan base here. The fan base don't have that confidence that they think they're going to go and win.
Oh, the fan base, yeah. I think the fans are full of anxiety. I agree with that, and you could see that in the United game. You know, a misplaced pass, mistake, even booing at the end of a game because they're just so worried about bottling it again. And I think that pressure is building at that stadium, and that maybe could affect the team 100%. But if they start winning games again, they will go away. But they have obviously not won in 3 games, have they? Obviously, this whole conversation calms down if Arsenal don't win against Leeds, and then we don't have to think about it. But if they do, obviously, then people start talking about it. The poll at the moment, 186 votes. Everyone get voting. Do you want Spurs to beat Man City? 80% say yes.
Who are you that are saying no? Like, seriously, who are you that are saying no? How can you not want Spurs to beat Man City this weekend? You that worried about Arsenal in January? Like, come on, guys. Like, forget about Arsenal. If it was a defining game, I can understand it more and I'd probably agree with you. But it's not a defining game. There's so many more games left to play. Like, forget about them right now. Seriously.
And also, we got a chance in the North London derby on 22nd of Feb to put it right.
Exactly. We're going to put them in the mud that day as well.
Exactly.
So, look, for me, this is a massive game. And we need to do our best to win it. I think we can win it. I think we're going into it hopefully with a bit of confidence, with the European, beating Frankfurt a week before beating Dortmund. Obviously, in between that was not such a great game against Burnley, which in my opinion we should have won, and it was probably one of the better games of the season. So last 4 games, we've looked okay.
Yeah, I mean, we look better, I would say. I mean, it has coincided with much easier fixtures, but obviously Dortmund and Frankfurt were good games, and that's in the Champions League, and that was good. Albeit, German sides, Frankfurt were already out, Dortmund were down to 10 men, so there are caveats with that, even with that, but you just got to give credit where credit's due. There were 2 good performances. And I find it, people are saying in the last 5 games or few games, if you take out the Champions League, I mean, like in the Premier League, we're looking better, but we are playing a lot worse sides. Like, we are playing West Ham, Bournemouth and Burnley, who are winless in double-digit games going into those games. So is there any surprise that we were more in those games than the other ones, given the opposition? Probably not. So we have to prove that we can do against a good team, and we obviously did beat Man City earlier in the season. I also think the formation definitely, just purely based on what I'm seeing, is leading to a few different dynamics that are working better for us than before. I think the wing backs supporting the wingers with those 3 centre back covering is helping. I think Xavi having more options to play with in the midfield is definitely helping as well for him. I think it's helping the striker. I also think having Solanke back with his hold-up play, that's definitely helping. So there's definitely a few dynamics, irrespective of the opposition, which are definitely different to what we were seeing before, and they're definitely improving. But yeah, at the moment, we're 2 wins in 14, and we just need to start getting results. Performances have to get better as well. But given the situation we are in, results are just paramount at the moment.
Yeah, and I think with the kind of game it's going to be this weekend, do you feel like this could be a game that could suit Xavi Simons? Because there'll be that bit more space for him, as opposed to like the Burnley game or the West Ham game.
Yeah, I think so. I think Man City at the moment, they're not the most physical side, and they try and play football, and they're obviously going to take the game to us, and they're going to commit risk. And I think Xavi is the kind of player who could thrive in that scenario. But the question is, can we get the ball to him? Are City going to kind of suffocate us and just make sure we don't get out? Because they're going to be very aggressive with their pressing and stuff like that. And they're obviously a very good team. They're going to keep the ball very well, and we're going to have to basically play in transition and play quickly and directly. I think Xavi is definitely a player who could suit it, because I look at City's midfield options and they're all good, but I don't see any of them hopefully dominating him. And they're going to probably have Bernardo Silva potentially in the midfield, maybe even Foden. So I think they're going to have technicians in there. So I think we can have a technician in there as well, hopefully. In that.
And I think, you can look at many Spurs v Man City games in the past where, we've had the kind of blueprint to hurt them, but the most recent game and the biggest example of it recently is the Manchester United game, and how Man United completely nullified Man City that day. Bruno Fernandes was just so instrumental to everything that they were doing. They kind of were so compact, so hard to beat, but then when they attacked so direct in numbers, and they were hurting Man City time and time again. And I think we've got the ability to do that as well.
Yeah, they attacked with purpose. That was the main point. They didn't just do it. They didn't just get the ball, sit deep, and then lump it forward and just go long. They have a few quick combinations into Bruno, into Mbeumo, running in behind. It was really kind of carefully thought out, but executed to perfection. And it was a brilliant counter-attacking performance from Man United. But obviously they had the players to do it. Yeah. Mbeumo is probably one of the best counter-attacking players there is at the moment in the Premier League. Bruno, obviously, incredible ability to pick passes out, and he was doing it night and day. Also, Cunha, he's got incredible ability. They had Dorgu as well, who just kind of, his work rate was amazing, and he was able to just dominate his side. But I think the main thing is how they were able to nullify City was very impressive. Maguire was just making sure Haaland was getting no kind of aerial threat. Lautaro Martinez was making sure that anything into feet he was dealing with. So hopefully with that dynamic, obviously we saw it in September when Van de Ven and Romero just kept shut down Haaland, didn't they? They had Van de Ven following him all the way to the opposition penalty box, and they had any ball into feet was Romero's essentially. And we just got to do the same here. And hopefully at home they'll be encouraged to do that. Like, not be scared of Haaland and not be scared of what they can offer, but go after them. Proactive defending, and that's the crucial thing.
Yeah, and when I'm comparing that Manchester United team to the Tottenham team that's going to play, obviously it's probably going to be a different formation. That extra defender is going to help us. But I think from a defensive standpoint, we've probably got better personnel than Manchester United at the back there. But obviously going the other way, they've got better personnel with the likes of Bruno and Mbeumo. And what I like about Mbeumo is his speed and directness, in the number 9 position since Carrick has come in. We've got Dom Solanke, which offers a different kind of threat, a more of a physical kind of threat. But this is what I was saying in the predicted lineup. This is why I wouldn't mind seeing Tel this game, because he's got more of that kind of pace that can get him behind that Man City team. Obviously, we did see Dominic Solanke getting behind, in midweek, but that's not his natural game, getting in behind. He's more like backing into the strike, backing into the defender, and being really hard to handle in a physical aspect. But I think Tel in the 9 could have his values in this game. I really do.
I agree, but I think the reason we are going to go with Dom, and I think it's the right decision, is because City are going to press us, and it's going to be tough to play our way out of them. And one way of doing that is just going long, and we are going to do that. I think we are probably going to do that quite a lot.
Well, we do it every game,
and we do it every game. That's my point. And Dom is just the best player to pick up that those kind of holding the ball up, and getting that close control on his chest, bringing other players into play, bringing Odegaard and Xavi, getting them into the game. And I actually think even since he's come in, he's actually done such a good job at doing that. You just see the difference. His strength is brilliant, backing into players and making sure that it's his ball and just making it stick, bringing that quality. And I think the crucial thing with that is with Dom, you just you can plan for it to stick because you know it is going to stick. With our other strikers, it's very hit and miss.
True.
So I think there will be a plan for it. As soon as Dom gets it down, this one's going to be running, that one's going to be running. When it's Richarlison, it's like, can you plan for it? Because if he's going to lose it, 70% of the time, then if this guy's running, making those runs constantly, and he's losing it, all of a sudden he's going to stop making those runs because he can't count on Richarlison to hold it. Whereas with Dom, you can. So all of a sudden, that can be a plan in place, what we do. And I think that will be a plan in place.
It's true. Look, we look like a better side with Dominic Solanke in it. No doubt about it. I think when you're talking about the Man City physicality and how much about maybe they're lacking in a bit of it recently, I think what has helped and what will help them is Mark Guehi and Semenyo. Both of them are very physical players, aren't they? Yeah. And from that aspect, that's something that we need to be wary on because they're players that can match the physical battle.
Absolutely, but my only point on Man City is they have those physical players, but they also have not physical players. And I'm not saying not physical, but in comparison. So when I talk about people like Kuzanov and Nico O'Reilly is pretty physical as well. I'm not saying they're awful physically. I'm just saying there's an advantage you just got to try and get, and I think Kuzanov is definitely one. He's obviously very quick, but I think Dom, if we get Dom sticking to him, like Dom's got to make sure he's sticking to Kuzanov. I think Kuzanov's going to have a big battle trying to get the ball off him. And I think definitely Semenyo and Guehi's improved them because they've had so many injuries and they've just come in slotted. They were playing a Watford loanee at centre back, for the last few games. And obviously, with Semenyo wasn't there as an option. They've had Savinho out. They've had a lot of injuries. So naturally, it's just going to help them anyway. But I definitely think physically against United, they struggled massively. Again, it was the Watford centre-back who played. But physically against United, they definitely had struggles there. And against Wolves, they won, but they only won 2-0. It wasn't like they're battering. I just think there might be some advantages we can get in this game physically. Definitely from set pieces.
You're looking at that midfield battle where we're thinking it's going to be Gallagher and Paulinho, right? If they're up against a midfield three of, let's say, Rodri, I don't know, Foden and Reinders, or Foden and Bernardo Silva, or Bernardo Silva and whatever it may be. I think Rodri will be sitting in that number 6. And I'm looking at Rodri. He hasn't really recovered and got back to his best yet, has he? He looks a bit physically off the pace a little bit. Yeah. And he is someone that Spurs can target a little bit with that physicality with Paulinho in the middle and with Conor Gallagher in the middle there.
Yeah, we have to test him. I think it's as harsh as it is. This is a guy who's obviously recovering from a big injury. And he hasn't. Look, I don't think he's been awful, but he hasn't been at his best, and anywhere near his best. He's way off it at the moment in terms of himself. When you compare him to just an average Premier League player, he's not awful. But when you compare him to himself, he's way off it, way off the pace. He was in a way different condition, I feel, from what I've seen. So, for me, you have to test that. You got to hound him. You got to make sure that he has to be at his best to beat you, and I don't think he is at the moment. So I definitely think that is one thing. I look at Gallagher, who's endless running energy. Paulini's got incredible ability to press and win tackles. I think if it's going to be those two, they've got to use Rodri as a pressing trick, and that's not something that sounds weird to say because Rodri's usually so press resistant he can get out of any situation. But right now, You've got to tell, basically send a message to Rodri, you've got to be the best Rodri that you are, otherwise we're going to be after you.
Yeah, and I've seen him obviously he got sent off a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember who it was against, but he got picked up 2 yellow cards in quite quick succession.
I think Boda.
Was it Boda, yeah? And he picked up 2 yellow cards in quite a quick succession. And Boda, you know the way they play, they're just a million miles an hour. They were running rings around the Man City team that day. And I feel like if we show those energy levels and we can get Rodri booked in that first half, and then that takes away another element of his game. And as bad as I think I agree with you. We need to go and target Rodri this game. He could be that weak point in the middle of the park. Mm-hmm. He really could.
I think so as well. And I think they're going to have probably Matthias Nunes at right back. He's obviously kind of turned into a pretty decent right back. But he likes to get forward. That's more
both him and Nick O'Reilly, really good players.
They're good. They're really good players, but also they're not like the best. They're good, but they're not like you can get past them. And they played Ait-Nouri. He's been coming back into it. I think that'd be a mistake for them to play Ait-Nouri in this game because I really think Odegaard will probably be licking his lips at the thought of Ait-Nouri, albeit Ait-Nouri could maybe force him back because he's such an offensive player. But
so I think Ait-Nouri played 90 minutes in both Champions League games, but then didn't get off the bench against Wolves last week in the Premier League.
But O'Reilly started in midfield last game,
right?
In Galatasaray, so it'll be interesting to see which one he goes with. But I think definitely the fullbacks. That's definitely where they got exploited against Man United. Just on the breakaway, there was all that space out wide, and I think our wingers or winger in Odegaard should be looking at that situation, especially how he's been playing the last few weeks, just super confident, taking on his man. He's got to be confident in this game. He needs to make sure when he's got the opportunity one-on-one, he takes him on, doesn't even hesitate. And he's been doing that recently, but obviously beforehand, he was clearly, when he got the ball, a bit hesitant. He wasn't sure. He would wait that half a second too long, then maybe take him on when the player's in position or run into traffic inside, whereas recently he's not been thinking, he's just been doing, and that's what he needs to do in this game because Man City, I think, could struggle to contain him.
Yeah, we've seen in obviously recent weeks Spurs have had moments of lapses in concentration at the back against Burnley, 2 goals that we conceded, shocking defending. We've seen those kind of things happen time and time again. You can't afford that against Man City with the likes of Haaland, with the likes of Ryan Cherky, with the likes of Phil Foden, Semenyo. I mean, we can see we basically shut down Semenyo a lot in the Bournemouth game, but one lapse of concentration, one little moment, bang, goal, 3-0, 3-2, and he's got that quality. All of those players have got that quality. Just one little moment is all they need.
Yeah, and obviously against Burnley, switched off a couple times, didn't we?
Yeah.
And that cost us, even against Burnley. So at this level, you have to be on it. I have a feeling that because it's a big game, big opposition, they will be on it. They will be switched on. I feel like someone like Romero loves these kind of games. Same with Van de Ven, maybe Danso as well. So I feel like I have a feeling it won't be as much of an issue as it was in the games against Burnley and West Ham, where in those games, obviously, the onus is on us to attack and win the game, and it made us focus on those elements. And then at the back, we, in the few times we were attacked, we did switch off, and we weren't as solid or as organised as we should have been. And I feel like in this game they're going to be more switched on. I've got that feeling because I think they step up in these games.
Yeah, the thing is with Man City, in terms of when you're looking at their careers, like Ryan Cherky, I think he's been so good this season. He's like a throwback player, isn't he? Such a box of tricks, so exciting to watch. And even if you're on it at the best of times, he can still get past you and still create something. So they've got X factors in there. Like even if we're performing at our best and we're shutting down Haaland, they can still like create chances.
Foden, Hart, they've just got incredible talent in the forward line. Obviously, adding Semenyo to that, he gives them as well.
More goals.
Yeah, more goals, more pace, more power. Someone to be worried about in a one-on-one kind of situation in dribbling and stuff. Obviously, he's very good at getting in the box. They've got incredible talent. Haaland, what more can you say about Erling Haaland? You switch off one moment, he's thrown goal and it's 1-0 or it's a goal. You know that with him. So it's going to be one hell of a job to stop them, but we always seem to do one hell of a job whenever we play against them. We just seem to pull it out of the bag and we seem to find a way of stopping them with the energy we provide. We just have their number somehow. We just seem to always be able to switch on, be compact. They always find it difficult. I mean, they do create chances a lot of the time, but they just find a way of missing them a lot of the time, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, Haaland is very prone to having a stink against us, which makes me think, like, at one point, he's just going to click against us. And let's hope that doesn't come tomorrow.
You know, Bernardo, Foden, Cherky, just such incredible technicians in between the lines. If we've got anyone switching off or no one doing their job, within a second they'll be in behind you and creating chances. It won't take much. So it's difficult to contain them. But you know, we do have good defenders, and we have good proactive defenders on if they behave proactively. So I'm confident. I'm confident we can be competitive in this game. Obviously, look, they're favourites. I wouldn't be shocked if we lose. It could easily happen, like, you know, what happened maybe at the Emirates. You know, the way we just got completely outplayed and battered. That could happen if we're not on our game and we don't have good energy levels. That could easily happen. We obviously went back 3 in that game.
Well, look, we all talk about the results we get against Man City and how we're a thorn in their side and everything like that. But actually, I mean, the last 2 Premier League games at home, we haven't scored and we've lost 2 games. So we are on a bit of a bad run against them at home after, you know, the amazing run that we did go on. So that is also something to be wary about.
We did beat them in the Carabao, didn't we?
Yeah, we beat them in the Carabao 1-0, wasn't it?
2-1.
2-1, was it? Yeah. But I'm talking about in the league, you know, 2-0 and 1-0, wasn't it? Or was it 1-0, 1-0?
2-0 was the one we wanted to lose, and 1-0 was the game last season, although we actually played really well in that game.
Haaland scored like early on, and then we just couldn't claw it back after that.
Yeah.
So, look, this is a game literally that just can go any way. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a win, loss, or draw. I know that's unbelievable analysis, but like, you just wouldn't be surprised, would you?
No.
There's nothing surprises you in this game.
Yeah, I think for me, it's a weird one because going into this game, obviously off the back of a win, you feel a bit better about how we're playing and stuff like that compared to obviously when you every time we finish a Premier League game, you're like, this is terrible, this is dross, I can't stand it, can't stand the manager, get him gone. And we play these Champions League games, like, actually we're not too bad, are we? We can do all right. And then so this is off the back of a Champions League game. So if this was obviously off the back of Burnley, I'm like, yeah, no chance, we're not going to win, we're terrible, we're shit, the players don't want to play for him, blah blah blah. And then we play Frankfurt, pretty good performance given also loads of injuries, and then you're like, okay, maybe if we get back to how we played it maybe against City early in the season, this back 3 seems to be doing a bit better, maybe we got a chance here. So it's a difficult one to really analyse. It's like we'll see kind of what kind of Tottenham turn up.
Spurs just have a tendency, and it's been like this for so many years, to drag you back in and spit you back out.
Yeah.
That's what they do consistently, time and time again. And right now we've been dragged back in, and are we going to be spat back out this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of like Frank, like you've had the feeling now for the last like few games, oh, he has to win or he's gone, has to win or he's gone. I don't have the feeling in this game. I think even if he loses, I don't think he's going.
What if it's a very heavy loss?
Even that, I think you got the you know, it's Man City, you can happen to anyone kind of excuse. I don't think he's gone after this game. I think that period maybe where he really was under pressure. I'm not saying he's not still under pressure. I guess, look, if we lose heavily and then Forest and West Ham all get results and we're literally getting dragged really heavily into it and we look disinterested in this game, maybe we do pull the trigger. But I don't have the feeling like I did it before the West Ham or after West Ham, before Burnley, before Dortmund, where this is a dead man walking and he had to go. I feel like they're not going to pull the trigger even if we do lose this game.
There's one thing dropping points or losing to a title challenger. There's another thing dropping points to relegation candidates.
Exactly.
And quite consistently as well.
And if he didn't lose his job then,
exactly.
He can lose his job now.
Yeah, exactly.
So, my point being, I don't get the feeling that even if we lose this, his job is on the line in this game. Whereas I did get those feelings in those other games.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. But let's see if we have the same feelings at the final whistle on Sunday.
I guess maybe from some Tottenham fans' point of view, a good performance and a loss maybe would be the perfect result. But I think
not for me.
For Thomas Frank, yeah, but Frank's not under pressure if he loses for you, is he?
I mean, I think he should be, in my opinion.
Even if it's a good performance.
I think he should be under pressure regardless. Look, I've said it time and time again. Like, I don't know. It's all about who you can bring in at this stage of season. And I think if they had a clear candidate who they could bring in as an interim, I think he would be in by now. And I think Frank would be gone. But there's clearly that issue there. So, and it's a valid issue as well when you're talking about they're still starting to play for in the Champions League. We're doing well in the Champions League. You know, no one thinks we're actually going to go and win it, albeit I know a few people that have put their hotels in Budapest. But yeah, and the thing is about that as well, I feel like the club aren't taking the threat of relegation seriously. And if they were taking the threat of relegation seriously, they might be looking even harder for an interim.
Well, there was a report from, where is it? There is a report from Mike Keegan on the Daily Mail said there are thought to be clauses in the contracts which would lower wages in the event of relegation, but the prospect is not being considered at Tottenham.
Yeah, well, there you go. So I don't think they're taking it seriously. I think a lot of the fan base aren't taking it seriously as well. And look, it might come to pass. I don't think anyone genuinely thinks we're going to get relegated, but I think a lot of fans are genuinely thinking that we could get pulled into it.
100%.
So
we could easily be within 5 or less points at the end of this month, at the end of next month, sorry.
Yeah.
But whether we can pull that situation together come the end of the season, I'm pretty confident we can. Even if we somehow find our way into the relegation zone at some point this season, I'm still confident we would pull ourselves out of it. But the fact that we're even contemplating the fact that we could be in the relegation zone at some point this season is absolutely baffling and crazy.
I think the way the club are looking at it right now is that, look, Frank could have deserved to got sacked by now. There's no candidate that can come in and guarantee to change our fortunes. So we're not going to go down. We're not in any threat of relegation. So let's just see how we go with Frank till the end of the season. And if needs be, we'll make a change then.
Yeah, my point being when it comes to Frank in this game is like, against West Ham and Burnley, it was like, you have to win. Otherwise, like, it's a disgrace. Obviously, that's not the case on Sunday.
Yeah.
Because we're playing Man City.
Yeah.
But obviously, we want to win. But I guess if we have a good performance again and it follows a trend of better performances, maybe people start to think, okay, maybe you're starting to get a tune out of this team. But we need a good performance for people. Like, if we just go out down with a whimper and it's just poor again, like, regardless of playing Man City, like, it's not an excuse just to not put in a good performance. We need to see good performances. That's like the main thing. If we're really going to have belief as a fan base that this manager could turn it around and he is the right guy. I think obviously he's lost all faith, most faith in most fans in terms of him being the right guy. That doesn't mean he can't win it back if we start playing well, start winning, and, you know, he shows something else or shows more. And it starts on Sunday. Like, we might lose, but let's say we lose 3-2 playing really well and it's unlucky. We can live with that. But if we go down 3-0, having sat back the whole game and just waited to be beaten, then unacceptable. So we need to see a good performance.
But also, if we sit back and soak up the pressure and 1-0 and we crap the whole game, Man City are missing chance after chance, and we win 1-0 from a corner, you know, they use that as an excuse to say, Frank, we beat Man City at home, you know. So it's nothing to be sniffed at to beat Man City at home. So even if we perform poorly and get the result, that's still something else that Frank is going to have, or the board are going to have to keep him.
Definitely. But in terms of how I would feel, I always watch performance. If we just get a lucky 1-0 off the backside and Man City miss 3 penalties, I'm not going to sit here and say, wow, what a performance. But I'll be happy, I'll be delighted. But I'm not going to say, yeah, this is evidence of Frank turning around. But if we have a good performance and we're the ones missing 3 1-on-1s and Man City score 1 off their backside and win 1-0, I'll be like, okay, Frank, I'll give him a bit of credit because we played well, we were unlucky, it wasn't his fault.
All right, well, that is the match preview, people. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. I'll be at the game on Sunday, alongside, apparently, Mr. Box Office is going to sit the seat in front of me.
That's the question.
But Sim is going to be here on the watch-along with a brand new watch-along host. So come in and tune in about 4:15. Not the concierge this time. The concierge, I don't think he's coming in.
Oh, wait,
on Sunday.
one more thing to talk about is change for Tottenham.
Yeah, big protest planned apparently
Big
on.
protest plan. We should probably talk about that because
The thing is with the protest, I mean, I haven't really. I've seen a few bits on Twitter, but I haven't seen it like publicised that much, which is a bit strange.
Yeah, he hasn't. Billy T hasn't been doing the rounds this week, I guess, when it comes to it. Just to read out what they've posted: change for Tottenham protest for Sunday. The board will not listen to. The board will not listen to silence. They will not listen to patience. They will only listen when match-going fans show visible collective discontent. If we don't act together inside the stadium, nothing changes. Before kick-off, 4 p.m. Meet outside the south stand. Bring flags, scarves, banners. Join chants against the owners. Make the message loud before a ball is kicked. During the game, continue the Enoch chant, out chants throughout the match. Boycott spending inside the stadium. Don't fund the failure. And then this one turned out to be a bit controversial. 75th minute walkout. At 75 minutes, we encourage all fans to leave the stadium, head to support a local pub, and watch the remainder of the match there. The match is live on TV. The world will be watching. This would make a big statement if the stadium empties. The message is undeniable. If we stay seated and quiet, the board will ignore us again. Our club, our voice. Now, obviously, the Enoch out chance and the demonstration for games have been done before. Walkouts have been planned but never really followed through. What do you think of a walkout 70th minute, and is it appropriate regardless of what's happening on the pitch on Sunday?
I'm always one of, being there to support the team through thick and thin, through the 90 minutes. However, I do support what they're trying to do. 75th minute walkout. The last protest a few weeks ago just didn't get the numbers required. So it makes me think that the walkout, I'm not sure if the walkout's going to be successful as much as I want it to be successful. So I hope it is, and I hope, you get large numbers of fans walking out, but it also, it needs to start small and get big. So maybe it won't happen this game, but maybe you get a few people walking out this game, and then if they keep going and keep persisting with it, the word will get spread bigger. And but I think ultimately the problem is with this fan base, I don't think enough people care, and I don't think enough people are behind it.
But how would you feel if, let's say, we're 1-0 up, playing well, we're kind of digging deep to get a result, but we're having a good performance, and we just need the fans to help us over the line, and there's a walkout.
It might be better just to leave seats empty in the first 10, 20 minutes, 10, 15 minutes instead of the last 15 minutes. That might be easier to accomplish.
Because it's very result dependent. If we're 3-0 down, people are going to be walking out regardless, aren't they? On 75 minutes. And then it's an easier job to convince fans. But if we are playing well, winning, we're winning whatever result is, or even drawing, let's say,
Look, the reality is, right, the majority of people that go to the stadium are going to watch the football. And there's a small percentage of the real hardcore that are very invested in the hierarchy of the club and what that is and demonstrating and everything like that. So I think with what we have in the stadium right now, I genuinely don't believe we're going to get enough fans to actually do it to make an impact. I really don't.
Will you be walking out?
Look, if I see that a large number is, then I'll back it and I'll join in. But if it's only like 1 or 2, then I don't see a point in it.
Has to start somewhere, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does have to start somewhere, and I massively appreciate the work that Change of Spurs do. I've been at every Change for Spurs protest so far, and I'll carry on going and supporting them, and hopefully the numbers can grow again and get back to what it was last season and more. But the last protest, the numbers that turned up was very disappointing.
But if Spurs are winning and the walkout is successful, there is a large number. Would that be appropriate?
Sorry, say that again?
If Spurs are winning, playing well,
yeah,
and the walkout is
effective. I think a protest shouldn't be result dependent. A protest should be a protest. We're protesting against the board. The board are the same before the game and after the game, no matter what the result is. So regardless, I think if you want to protest against the board, it shouldn't be dependent on the result.
Fair enough. I think you're right there. But yeah, interesting stuff.
But we know after the game, Nothing's going to change. The goal line bar is going to be packed with people. Not many people are probably going to walk out. So let's just hope I'm wrong, and let's hope that the fans can make their voices heard. We made our voices heard last year, but this year it's just been more apathy than anything else.
Yeah, I think obviously they've done a good job, haven't they, in terms of changing the narrative. The ENIC, Levy's gone, blah blah blah, this and that. We did win the Europa League, so that we had a trophy to celebrate. Everyone's been happy about that. So I think people who are really paying attention realise that it's still ENIC and nothing's really changed. But for some people, they're willing. A lot of people, I guess, they're still willing to give it a bit of a grace period, and they're willing to give it a bit more time to see what has really changed, and if because maybe there's an understanding or an ability to see, look, these things can take time to implement, and maybe there is change, we just haven't seen it yet, and they're willing to give it time. So I understand the conflict there.
What do you reckon? What do you reckon about the 75th minute walkout?
Yeah, I mean,
would you be taking part if you were at the game on Sunday?
Would I be taking part if I was at the game on Sunday? No.
Why not?
Because I think it'd be better to do the opposite, as you said, walk in late and have it when they kick off to be empty. That sends more of a message than walking out, I think, on 75. I think you should be, because I think at that point you're in the game, you've been there for 75 minutes. You should be with the players at that point. I think when you come in late, that's not a sign of you've abandoned the players. That's a sign of sending a message, and
then you're going to join the players.
You're going to join the players. At that point, it's like when you're abandoning the game at 75 minutes. Then it's like sending a message like we're abandoning you. We're not supporting you to try and get the result over the line. So I don't know if I agree with a walkout as such in such a big game as well. I understand the intent behind it. I'm not against that, and I would attend a 10-minute or 15-minute walk-in, definitely.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I do,
but I'm not sure about a walkout.
But the protest in general, obviously, I've been to all the games that have been the protest. You haven't been to one yet.
No, I'd go to the protest if I'm not in the studio, for sure.
Yeah. So look, big up to Change for Spurs. Definitely support what they're trying to do. But let's see what happens this weekend, eh? So
big one.
Yeah, big game. Let's hope a message gets across to the board as well. And it's just like, I was willing to give it time to see if they can follow through on their word. But it's just, I said I'll give them this transfer window and next transfer window. But this transfer window has just been enough for me, enough to see what they're really about, and enough to see what, if anything, has really changed. And nothing seems to have changed. In fact, it seems to have got worse. So
I also think, let's say we are losing heavily going to latter stages, what would send more of a message? Just like massive ENIC out chance for the last 15 minutes, or just a quiet empty stadium where a lot of people are leaving anyway?
Yeah, I think both do send messages, but I think being loud in the stadium in front of the Sky cameras,
that probably
sends the bigger message.
Because they could just say, "Oh, people left because we're losing."
But they're saying be loud throughout the 75 minutes about it anyway.
Which is, you should do it.
I just got a feeling that
apparently Roberts
that they're being there's too much being asked of the fans in this game. Like,
what do you want? Protests? You want chants, and you want to walk out,
and not too much kind of drum up about it. It needs to be kind of advertised a bit more.
Yeah, you need a lot of people on board and doing it.
Yeah.
If it's going to make the impact that you need it to make. I hear that. But yeah, look, I back the cause, and I think ENIC need to absolutely be put under pressure, 100%. I think they're not doing enough. At the moment, it just seems an absolute circus from the outside looking in. Like, it just seems to be all over the place. They don't seem to have changed. The window hasn't gone to plan by any stretch.
But the thing is, it's not about it not going to plan, which is true. It is about that in a certain extent, but it doesn't seem like there's been a plan. That's the whole
also a
point.
thing.
It's just like a complete scattergun approach. We'll go for this one. We'll go for that one. There's no like.
Which is the same every bloody window.
Exactly. Exactly.
In this club. And is it like, for example, they're just. It seems
In
as though
fact,
they've-
actually, like we've always had that thing that there's no real plan at Tottenham. But actually, the last couple of transfer windows, it seems like the positions have been targeted a bit more precisely. Now it seems like it's back to that approach of like no plan whatsoever.
And it just also doesn't seem to be like a plan for Frank. Like for example, if you think about Brighton, let's say Hertzler resigns tomorrow, I'm sure they've got a big list of managers they would appoint, or they've been looking at and scouting about who could maybe come in. It seems as though we've never even considered the thought of Frank could not be the manager. And I guess if he's gone, we have to scramble around to look for one. There should be a plan in place for everyone, even if it's a manager you trust. There should always be plans in place about what other managers are out there, what they're doing. Could they potentially be a right fit for us? And if the manager does go wrong with you, then all of a sudden you know what you're doing. Not saying you should undermine his power.
I think the plan is in
authority.
place there for the summer. It's just not there for mid-season.
I don't know if it is.
I think it
I
is.
don't know if it is. Just Poch. I'm sorry, going back to Poch is not a plan. That's just lazy.
It is a plan, and it's what's going to happen.
It's not a plan. It's just like, we'll go back to Poch because everyone loves him.
Yeah.
It's not a plan.
But I think it's a decent. I think it's a decent option for us, Pochettino. I welcome it with open
arms. It's not
arms.
come from them thinking about things strategically. Is my point.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just if all else
No
fails,
strategy.
go back to what the tried and tested.
Exactly, because everyone will get on board with it and whatever. If it falls flat, we'll think about that down the line.
See, it's not. Ultimately, it's not really a footballing decision.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a popularity thing.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
It's like an easy win.
That's what I said all along.
Yeah.
It's the ENIC playbook. What they did when they first came in, they sacked George Graham, which the fans hated because of his Arsenal links. He won us a trophy. They sacked him, and they brought in Glenn Hoddle, who's a Tottenham legend.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no real strategy about how they're operating.
Yeah.
And they should have a list of managers that they think, go back to their bloody list, to their bloody 10-point plan list, and look about other managers on that list and think about who maybe you could target, because I think they might have to go back to that list very soon, or if it carries on like this with Frank.
Yeah, look, I think the focus needs to switch from Thomas Frank onto the board. Like, enough of this Frank out noise in the stadium, which, look, I get it, but if you focus on ENIC, then you'll probably get what you want with Thomas Frank anyway. So focus on ENIC. They need to be the kind of at the forefront of the fans' mind in terms of, voicing the discontent, in my opinion. So, yeah, look, that is it. That is all from us today. We'll see you on Sunday, people. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.